Hey guys, so went drafting this past weekend. Big surprise, big surprise. So, I got 2 draft decks here. I'm going to try to cover them real quick. Okay, from here over, first draft. First of all, I had 3 clue stones. I was going white, blue, green. I had 3 clue stones and a Simic gate. All well and good. Some people don't like clue stones. I've found they work out pretty well. As long as you can reliably hit 3 mon, the clue stone pretty much guarantees you can hit 4. Period. Statement ends. So the clue stones aren't necessarily bad. That in late game you can sack them for a draw card. They're reasonably solid, provided you don't have a very low curve aggro deck. That's the key. That's the key. That said, what have I got here? What have I got here? Okay. V2 Ghazi Guildmage is just awesome. It makes armies. It makes a good size army. Slaughterhorn's a decent little Blood Rush creature. Slitherhead, it's okay. It's not exceptional, but it's okay. Hussar Patrol is a cute little guy. He's a blocker that comes out of nowhere, if nothing else. You know? Pretty cool. Deputy of Acquittals, people don't like that thing because out of nowhere you basically cheat someone out of a removal card. You can even double up on or enters the battlefield effect. Civic Saber is really, really awesome on multicolored creatures, which I have a fair number of. Skyline Predator, once again, it's a blocker out of nowhere. Windrake, it's a reasonably solid evasion creature. Asperious Skywatch, it's a big body that has that when it hits the board you get a detain. It's okay, but it's painfully high on the curve. Metropolis Right, it's an early drop flyer. Vassal Soul, another decent a good early block flyer. Holy Mantle just sits there and grants removal. That's pretty sweet. Control and removal card. Crosses of Incubation. Crosses Incubation is really nice. It can be, if you have a lot of mana, you can use it as a buff. If you don't, it's still a lockdown card. It's pretty nice. Hands of Binding. If you have anything with an evasion ability like flying or pro creatures. Putting that aside, I got something to say on that later. Anyway, the Hands of Binding can be pretty sweet. Runner's Bane is good for locking down small annoying creatures. Rapid Hybridization, I frequently ended up using that on creatures with Extort, simply because I knew them having a 3/3 creature in the long run was going to hurt me a hell of a lot less than them having like a 1/4 defender with Extort. Yeah, because late game 3/3, not terribly relevant. With no specials, is not terribly relevant. Late game Extort is very relevant. Angelic Edict is just straight up evil. It's a great card. Species Gorger, it's a 6/6 for 5 that on your upkeep you bounce a creature you control to your hand. Okay, sure. If I have a dude with a great comes into play ability, why the hell not, right? Lavinia of the 10th. Hey, speaking of things with a great comes into play ability, am I right? Oh wow, yeah, that was just brutal and nasty. First round, Lavinia won me games. She won me games hard because my opponent was like really strong Boros. So she comes down and my opponent's like all of his creatures are red or partially red, and he's sitting there looking at it. Well, crap, you know. And then game 2 against him, I got the Species Gorger and Lavinia on the board at the same time, which was pretty sweet. What you're not seeing here, stuff I kicked into the prize pool. I had a Archon of the Triumvirate, the 7-drop. That's like a 4/5 flyer that when you attack with it, you detain 2 target creatures your opponent controls, and a Stolen Identity. Make a token copy of target creature and then with Cipher. Yeah, that was nice. The reason why I put these aside is because I had a Vassal Soul, then I hooked up a Civic Saber to it, and then I put a Holy Mantle on it. This was in during one of the games in round 2. And then I stole an identity of my opponent's 6/6 demon and ciphered the stolen identity onto this thing and swung. I was churning out 6/6 demon tokens like there was no tomorrow. It was pretty sweet. And it was pretty sweet. Hold on a second. Ooh. Alright. So anyways, yeah, there's that. This deck did really well for me. Hold on while I fetch out the sideboard for you. The sideboard had a bunch of interesting junk in it. Try and get the sideboard sorted out real quick. Alrighty, here we go. So, I had a bunch of blue in the sideboard. Nothing too... The closest thing to spectacular for blue in the sideboard was a Rune Wing, which I didn't use, because I ran out of card slots. I had a Dimir and Izzet Cluestone that I picked up early, obviously, pack 1, because I wasn't sure what direction I was going to go with yet. I mean, you know, it happens. Riot Gear... because equipment even a half-ass equipment like Riot Gear can sometimes be pretty good. And Adaptive Snapjaw, I wasn't sure if I was going to run it or not. Common Bond is actually surprisingly solid, but I just ended up not having card slots for it. I was looking around for something that would like give my creatures a boost, especially a permanent boost, which is also why I snapped up that equipment, you know? All well and good. I snapped up some good black and black-blue. Bean Alley Broker's nice, Dimir Charm's nice, Bilstered Spy is nice, Dark Revenant is annoying, but I decided not to go that direction. I'm rather glad for it. I picked up Foundry Street Denizen, which was like a late hate draft, because I figured why, I'll deprive someone of a halfway playable weenie. Off of the guilds I think I got stuck with, actually. Rubber Belt Maka, I wasn't sure if I was going to play that or not, but I snapped it up because it's really good. Turn and Burn, I snapped up because it has uses. And I wasn't sure where I was going yet. I did really good with this deck. I came in first place, which was nice. I got a foil Cathedral of War for participating. I got the first 4 picks out of the prize pool, which netted me a Detention Sphere, a Death Pact Angel, Gideon, and a Hallowed Fountain, which was pretty nice. And then later picks, I ended up grabbing a foil promo, Breaking and Entering, a Fathom Mage, and I got the Archon of the Triumvirate back because there really was crap left at that point. Alright, at this point, fellas, you're going to see a transition because the battery in this camera is low, and rather than just have it conk out on me, I'm going to charge it up. In the meantime, that pizza that I just took out of the oven, yes, that's what the alarm was for, guys. Yeah, pizza. Anyways, I'm going to charge the battery on this up, and you're going to see a transition. Oh, right around nowish. And back. Second draft from this past Friday. This deck came in pretty much in the middle of the pack. Didn't do terrifically well with it. Wasn't happy with it. But considering how well I made out on first draft, I'll let it go. You know, I'll forgive the deck for being kind of crappy, which was, of course, my fault, too. These days, I'm actually thinking about just skipping second draft anyway, because it tends to run really late these days. I mean, I don't want to say this, but I put the blame for that squarely on the shopkeep, because he doesn't play the game. The game's not terrifically interesting to him, so he'll sit off to the side playing WoW, and things don't get started in a timely manner, results don't get processed in a timely manner, second draft does not start in a timely manner. So yeah, that makes a lot of us that makes some of us kind of unhappy. But it is what it is. I mean, he's still, the prices are still pretty much almost impossible to beat and all. and it's a pretty the overall atmosphere is pretty friendly, and you get good crowds in. So I don't know that, and of course I also tend not to do as well in second draft because the competition's a little bit stronger too. I mean, in addition to everyone being tired, you still get a lot of better players coming in for second draft. I mean, first draft, a lot of the less experienced and younger players take off because their parents don't want to have to pick them up at 3 a.m. Yeah. So let's take a look at what I got. I got 2 Rakdos Cluestones, an Orzhov Cluestone, an Orzhov Gate. All well and good. There's some mana fixing. I also picked up a what the heck is it called? The lantern thing. A chromatic lantern. I also got a Thespian stage. Those got kicked into the prize pool. Didn't get them back. Blah blah blah. Some Blood Rush guys. Vishino Shanktail, the Rubble Belt Maka, Skinbrand, Scorchwalker, all well and good. Warmind Infantry and Boros Mastiff, they're not exceptional in any way, shape, or form, but they're reasonably solid. Frostburn Weird is just plain awesome. Blade of Decree and Soul Tithe for some creature control. It's alright. A Slum Reaper, Away, Explosive Impact, 2 Smites, Martial Glory as combat. Well, Martial Glory is just a combat trick for the most part. The rest of these are by and large removal. Away I picked up pretty early in Pack 1 because even if you can't run far, even if you can't play far, who cares? Away is worth it. Yeah, 3 mana for an instant speed forced sacrifice? Sure, I'll do that all damn day. Opposite Odds Aid is a cute little card. I like it. I really do. It didn't come in very handy for me, sadly. Some flyers, a Bellistered Spy, Assault Griffin, Concordia Pegasus, Sky Knight Legionnaire. Unfortunately, what happened is I ended up fighting a guy who was right next to me, playing the same color combination I was, and yeah, so he ended up with most of the creatures in our colors, and most of the good creatures in our colors, and I ended up with like removal. Unfortunately, creatures just didn't help me a whole hell of a lot. At least not the ones I managed to get my grubby paws on. I don't know. Sideboard. There was a point in time where I wasn't 100% certain where I was going, so I ended up with a Blasted Genius and a Nivik Cyclops. Essence Backlash I kind of got stuck with late. An Asperius Skywatch, an Inspiration. The Inspiration I think was something I picked up when there just wasn't anything good in the pack. The Skywatch I grabbed because there was nothing in the pack for me, and I'm like, screw it, I'll grab a big flyer. Just to stop someone else from getting their paws on it. Profit and Loss I snapped up relatively early in pack 1. I ended up not running it because it just didn't seem good enough to me. Weapon Surge, I wasn't sure where I was going with it. Do you know Grant's First Strike, guys? I didn't realize that until this past week when I got hosed by it hard. Lava Cruise, a cute card. Pursuit of Flight's a cute card. Sphere of Safety's a cute card. Sundering Growth is a nice sideboard if your opponent has a really annoying artifact or enchantment. Maze Sentinel I got stuck with. I figure it might end up being playable. It wasn't. Riot Control, no one cares. Gleam of Battle it's okay in draft. I didn't have space for it, but I'd never use it in Constructed. Mental Vapors I grabbed because there was nothing left in the pack for me. There was nothing playable left in the pack for me. I'm like, it's kind of a cool illustration. I'll grab it. Midnight Recovery I wasn't expecting to make any real use of either. Also in sideboard, which you're not seeing here, was the what the heck is it? It's a giant. The Palisade Giant. Oh, Palisade Guard. I'm sorry. No, it's giant. It's giant. I'm looking at the picture on my phone. I'm like, is it giant or guard? I can't tell. But yeah, it's like 6 or 7 mana for like a 4/7 that absorbs damage like a beast. Yeah. But yeah. Prize pool. I ended up with another with a leftover Maze's End from pre-release and the promo Breaking and Entering and Zendikar Mountain that got chipped into the prize pool by the shop. All well and good. Oh, one thing that was on my mind. There's this one fellow who shows up to draft. He's a good player, don't get me wrong. He's a good player. But he's kind of a jackass. Which is, a free country. He's got the right to be that way if he wants to. But he, if he doesn't come in first, he complains. Complains like a mofo. And I'm at the point where I swear I have to bite my tongue not to just turn to him and say, dude, if you don't freaking like the house rules, play somewhere else. And I'm pretty sure the reason why he's playing here is because he knows if he comes in first, he can get some good stuff out of the prize pool. Which was illustrated by how I did with Draft 1. It's just like, hello, Shockland. But, I'm also forced to wonder if this means he's been banned from other places, especially with some of his attitude problems. But, don't get me wrong. I curse like a sailor, and I have a really, how can I put this, interesting mind, shall we say. So I've been known to say some really screwed up stuff at times. And I'm very glad that the shopkeep at my FLGS, sees fit to tolerate me. Because as I've said before, he's got really good, he's got good prices, he's got good policies, he's got a good crowd there overall. And he, every now and again, he'll chew me out for like not being more mindful of my big trap and all, but he still tolerates me, which I'm thankful for, because it's like there have been a handful of other places I've played where. Attitude, the atmosphere isn't quite as much as I'd like, and they're also further out, blah 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 blah, But is what it is. Alrighty, wrap this up, get it spliced together and put up. See you later, guys. Happy drafting. Blah blah blah, yakety schmacky.